Well, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. Out taking a cruise. Actually, not a cruise. Gonna stop at the hardware store and gonna get a haircut today, I think, if I can find any place open. And I want to talk about a few things I like, if not love, about the Toyota Tundra. You know, you get a new truck, you got to do this kind of video, right? So the first thing, I guess, is the color, the exterior color, and that, for those of you who don't know, is cement. I've always liked this color. Of course, I think it's a relatively new color, but I think it's pretty cool, and it kind of changes a little bit depending upon the light that you're in. You know, if you're in bright sunlight, I think it kind of has a little bit of a blue kind of hue to it. If you're in cloudy weather like we are today, it's kind of just almost a primer kind of gray color, which I like. I think it's pretty cool. It's unique. Next, I guess, is the interior room in this thing. I mean, it is cavernous in here. And it's funny because even though there's a ton of room in here, and you can see it if you look around, if this is going to make any sense, it doesn't feel like it's so enormous that it's difficult to drive, if that makes any sense. Plenty of room in the back, which I've mentioned before. Plenty of room in the front cabin here. Just excellent. Excellent for that. The next thing, and I can't really show you this other than what you might be able to see from watching me drive down the road, I guess, is the ride quality of this truck. I was really quite surprised, to be honest. I thought that because it's a traditional suspension that it would be rougher, you know, it's a truck. But man, it is very smooth. I mean, you do feel the road here and there, but it is very smooth, and I really like that. Next is the power, and there's been a little bit of debate, I guess, going on between my wife and I as to the power of this truck compared to specifically the Rebel, since that's the last full-size truck we had. She seems to think that that truck was more powerful. I would say that it might feel that way to her, maybe because it's a little bit lighter. But I do not see any difference, if not improvement, in power in the Tundra. The Tundra is just a more powerful truck, it feels like to me. It feels quicker off the line. It feels more responsive and more powerful when you're on the throttle. So for me, it feels like this truck is more powerful, and of course, who doesn't like that? I mean, come on. This next thing, and some of these things are just kind of the feel that you get from driving the vehicle, you know? The next thing is road view, I'll call it. Or maybe even road feel. And by that, I kind of mean what you can see and how the truck is for visibility on the road. And I've mentioned this before in some other videos, that this truck feels smaller on the road than the Rebel did. And I think that's because of its height, number one, and number two, because of the slope or the length of the front hood. I believe the front hood of this truck is shorter, and that enables you to see closer, if you will, to the front end of the truck than you could in the Rebel or even the F-150s that I had. It also gives you a better feel off to the left, where you can kind of compare where you're at in the lane against the center lines. It just feels easier to drive to me. You don't, again, have to be as aware of where you're at on the road all the time as you do in a different truck. You know, I always felt in the Rebel like I always had to pay attention excuse me, all the time as to where I was in my lane so that I wasn't taking over somebody else's lane. if that makes any sense. I don't get that feeling in this truck. And that is one thing that that Krista, my wife, and I agree on. She also believes that this truck is easier to drive on the road than the other trucks that we've had, which is good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad. One of the reasons is because she will drive this in the winter here when she needs to. If the weather's bad, she has to go somewhere. So makes me a little more comfortable that she can drive this easier on the road than she could the other trucks that we had, I guess. Now the next thing, and this really surprises me, because aesthetically I don't like them, but the side steps. I really like the side steps, the usability or the function of the side steps on this truck. They're huge, they're ugly in my opinion, but they do their job. It makes it very easy to get in and out of this truck. You know, I had put some steps on the Tacoma, and I really didn't need to do that. That truck was low enough that you didn't need it, and ultimately they just got in the way. You really try more to step over than use them, and they were so narrow that they were kind of difficult to step on anyway. They worked well in getting out of the truck, but getting in, they were really just in the way. Not so with the Tundra. These steps are so large, I guess, and wide, that they're very useful to get in and out of the truck. It makes it easier, and I really like that. Even though I think aesthetically they are probably the ugliest steps that I've had, and I'm not sure why at this point. I don't know if it's because they have that brushed chrome or aluminum color and I just don't like that, or maybe it's just the shape of them. I'm not sure, but I don't care for the looks of them, but that's okay. Aesthetically or functionally, they're very useful, and I really like that. The last thing that I'll mention for me on this truck is the modability. Not sure if that's even a word really, but the modability of this truck. You know, there's so much that you can do with it, and I know that again, as I am an anti-chromist, that there's a lot of chrome on it, but part of the attraction, I think, for me in getting this particular trim and color is that I can mod the truck to have it the way that I want it. You know, there's enough aftermarket stuff or even Toyota or TRD stuff out there that you can pretty much customize this truck however you want it to be, and I'm looking forward to that. Part of the fun of it for me and having, you know, really any vehicle, I guess, is being able to change it and make it my own, if you will. There is one more thing I kind of forgot to mention, and you guys are experiencing this right now, even though you don't know it, or maybe you do, and that is the sunroof and the rear window in this truck. I didn't have a sunroof. Matter of fact, I haven't had a sunroof in the last 3 trucks that I've had, full size, excluding the Tacoma, of course. And while I'm not a big sunroof fan, I did want the sunroof to be able to mount a camera like I have right now. Might be kind of a crazy reason, but hey, you know, to be able to mount a camera for filming and stuff. This truck enables me to do it. It's where you guys are mounted right now. The other thing is that rear window that's fully retractable. I really think that is a cool feature. I had decided, I guess after I traded in the Rebel, I guess, that if I ever got another full-size truck, that it would have to have that feature. And I don't believe it's available on any other truck other than the Tundra, so gee, that kind of narrowed my choices down a little bit, didn't it? I even looked at potentially having one installed in a truck aftermarket, but that didn't seem to be realistic. There's just no good way to do that I can find. So the sunroof and the retractable rear window, really cool options. I really like those in this truck, and it played a part in my getting this truck, and I love them being there. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about a few of the reasons, I guess, why I love this truck. There are others, of course, but those are the main ones that pop out when I think about it. As usual, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you like this new camera angle. Let me know. Please give this video a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you haven't before. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a good day. Bye.